I'm in New York navigating the streets of Manhattan to get to a family that need my help. So let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Fanci Sachs.
And I'm Greg Sachs, and we have 2 boys, and we live in New York City. Ryan is 5, and Jonathan is 3. I work in commercial and digital printing, 60 to 80 hours a week.
I work for a commercial real estate company, probably between 50 and 60 hours. We have a babysitter. She works Monday through Friday.
I don't like it.
Ryan has a very, very big personality. When he is into something and we either have to take it away or tell him no, he gets very upset.
No! I don't want to.
We'll have a meltdown in a minute.
No!
He'll physically try to kick me. We try to work through it. You know, there's a negotiation process.
Oh, no!
You want nice hot dogs? A hot dog, a hot dog, a hot dog.
But you're gonna be able to see the real show. You're gonna be able to watch the show later. Oh, this is ridiculous. This little boy has a meltdown because he can't get his own way, and the parents do everything but tell him off.
Jonathan will feed off of Ryan's pattern. Jonathan will have a tendency to hit.
Being out with the boys is always exciting.
We want to go to one place, they'll want to go to somewhere else.
I don't like pizza.
You don't like pizza?
No.
Why? Everyone likes pizza.
But I like hot dogs.
And then we'll struggle with that for 20 minutes.
We'll have hot dogs tomorrow.
No, I don't want
Get one up the
that.
street.
What do you want, Ryan?
I want hot dogs.
Don't argue with him. Get him a hot dog.
I have to admit that I do indulge the boys. We're gonna go get little toys now. I buy toys for my boys maybe 3 times a week. I do have a lot of guilt working, leaving my children. The toys are bought out of guilt.
If they don't get the toys that they want, there's always the jeopardy of a meltdown.
Okay.
Why do they have to get a toy every time they ask? These parents are afraid to say no.
Living in an apartment in Manhattan, we're constrained with the space. The kids have so many toys, and it's just overwhelming. Let me pick up the mess that your brother made. The apartment is totally overrun with toys.
There's no space in this apartment. It looks more like a toy store.
Bedtime is our biggest struggle. I stay in the room with them until they fall asleep.
Jonathan has a smaller toddler bed, so I'll lay on the floor. I'll hold hands with him just to make sure he goes to sleep.
Are you kidding me?
Both boys, at different times of the night, will wake up and come into our bed. They sprawl out all over the bed.
I'm usually backed into a corner, or there's a foot in my face.
I honestly haven't slept in 4 years, and I'm exhausted.
Supernanny, we need your help.
Finally, these parents have said something with authority. Hey, Cabby, you couldn't step on it, could you? A family needs my help right now. Hello.
Joe.
How are you? Pleased
I'm
to meet
Fanci.
you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to our home. Come on in. I didn't know what to expect. We were anxious. I was actually a little nervous. This is my husband, Greg. Hi, Greg. Pleased to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. How are you? How
Well,
are you?
thank
Pleased
you.
to meet you too. I felt kind of excited, just wondering how everything was going to unfold.
This is
Hi,
Ryan
boys.
and Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi. Shake each other's hand.
Hi, Ryan.
Where are you going?
I was going out for a couple minutes.
What?
Almost immediately, Mum's New York schedule meant that she needed to run some errands. Ryan started to kick off.
All right, so I'll be home, okay, in a couple minutes. They won't even know that I'm
Ryan,
Why
Ryan,
are you gonna go out?
listen to me. Listen to me. Come here. Come here, Ryan. Come here. Come here. Ryan, come here for a second.
Instead of Mum just leaving, she fed into this whole temper tantrum that he was having.
Ryan, come on.
I
It's okay.
I'm gonna check the mail. I have to go up the street for a couple of minutes, and then I'm
wanna
gonna come back.
go with you.
He wanted to know where I was going, when I was going, when I was gonna come home. Can he come with me? And that happens every day. You wanna give me the special kiss hug? Okay. You know, I feel bad because, you know, I wanna be with him, but I do have places to go. I have to be at work, so it's hard. You know what? When I come back, we'll all go out. We'll all go outside, and you can come with me.
Fanci finally got herself out of the door. During Mum's absence, I started to look around the house and I realised how suffocating it was. It's very difficult to find large space in Manhattan, and this family have confined space, and they have chosen to cram that space with clutter. With all these objects everywhere around the house, it's quite suppressing to be around, let alone to effectively parent.
Blimey, there are so many toys here.
There are toys that they've outgrown. They're too old for a lot of these toys, and it's just cramping up more space. Mum returned to give the boys some lunch, and that's when I noticed all these strollers. Just the 4 buggies?
Oh no, we have like 7 of them.
7 buggies.
2 are in the car.
You got the 2 of these portable ones.
Hey, Mom,
2 of those.
You've got
This. The red one used to get used before we had 2 of those. Actually.
Does that mean
This
it
is
doesn't
like
get used?
less and less, but this is like my favorite. This is my favorite stroller. It's easy.
It's
to
sort of
go around.
sentimental at this point.
Yeah, this one I love.
Right,
that stroller.
okay.
I'd only been in the house a couple of hours observing, and I certainly saw a few issues that I knew would need to be addressed. I wanted to take Mum aside and talk to her about Ryan's behaviour.
You know, Ryan is definitely attached to me, and you know, he has separation issues for sure.
Is that hard for you as well, though?
The separation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I leave these kids every day, you know, it's hard for me, of course. The other thing with Ryan is like, and maybe I also helped feed into this case, is that he's always wants this, that. He wants to go to toy stores every day.
When you buy and you buy and you buy, what hole is it trying to fill?
Maybe because I'm not here. So I feel guilt.
It's not easy for this family. They work long hours, they've got a child carer to look after their kids, and they feel guilty for it. So they buy their way out of it and tolerate behaviour that, let's face it, they shouldn't be tolerating. At one point, Ryan got hungry for a snack and he wanted waffles.
You know what? You had this for breakfast. So you could have apples or Cheerios or cheese or yogurt.
No!
Do you want a sandwich? I can make you turkey.
No!
I can make you turkey and cheese.
No!
You want to choose your yogurt? You could have the yogurt. No? Okay.
His mind was set. He wanted the waffles, and he wasn't prepared to take no for an answer.
Ryan wants what he wants when he wants it. Come here, let me open the refrigerator for you. Come here.
He just clung on to them for life, and then started to have a temper tantrum, hoping that she would give in to him.
I know. Okay, I know you like these. I know you're upset. I know you like these waffles. We have so many things to choose from. Let's just put this back. You want an ice pop? You can have an ice pop. You see something that you want?
No!
No? Okay. Do you want more mac and cheese?
No!
And then Ryan grabs the waffles right back out from the freezer.
Just what them. I'll try coaxing him, talking to him on my lap, reasoning with him, and then ultimately I'll have to wind up promising something. You could eat them every single morning for breakfast, because I know they taste really good. You can eat them every single morning.
Mum should have just taken the waffles when she realised that he wasn't prepared to cooperate. Instead, she fed into this whole manipulation.
Do you want the turkey and cheese?
Cheese cracker.
Cheese on a cracker?
No, cheese cracker.
Okay.
Eventually, Mum left the room with the waffles. But what a palaver getting them in the first place.
Come on, don't give me a hard time.
It was almost 8 o'clock, which is time for the boys to go to bed. However, these kids are fearful of being separated from their parents.
Come on. Stop.
Once Dad dragged Ryan into the bedroom, things started to calm down.
We try to read to them in bed, and then Ryan will bide for Fanci's attention and tell, say, Mommy, sleep with me. And I'll try to hold Jonathan's hand so he stays calm.
Dad did get up when he thought that Jonathan had fallen asleep, but that was wishful thinking.
This is what we're gonna do. What are you doing?
Easy. Come with me.
Almost 45 minutes later, nobody was going to sleep. In fact, these boys thought it was time for midnight feasting, with Mum and Dad's approval.
So what is this? This is the snack before the bed, or the... this is like a little snack. Usually, I don't know what this is.
Finally, the boys were in their bed, with Mum and Dad right next to them. Jonathan fell asleep, which meant that Dad could get up, but Mum was still there. This would be the time for me to leave now.
Well, thank you for a nice evening.
Thank you for a
Okay, and a
wonderful
good day.
Yes.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
I knew when I left that Mum and Dad would have a restless night, because there's no doubt that these boys are going to be up and in their bed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And sure enough, that night, the whole family were tossing and turning in Mum and Dad's bed. I think that Mum and Dad are going to have a rough morning as well, because I've got a thing or two to say to them. The first thing that I want to discuss with you both is your home. I mean, there is so much stuff in your apartment, and you're continuing to add.
We work during the week, so when we get home, I don't really feel like pulling stuff out of the shelf. So we really need like a weekend or a vacation.
There's
We
so
need to
much
do that.
here that you can't do anything. It's kind of like, well, what's the point? You can't get at anything.
You're living on top of stuff that you just need to clear out. And you don't need a vacation to do those things. A vacation is for you to relax.
You're right.
Let's talk about the kids' behaviour. When Ryan doesn't get his own way, he just freaks out. He goes up onto his tippy toes, he stiffs himself like this, really starch, okay? And then he starts to cry. He has learnt he gets what he wants when he behaves that way. Can it be fixed? In a heartbeat. But it needs two parents that are consistent, and it takes basically some tough love in saying no is no today, okay? I mean, there's no reason why you guys can't be polite, but no is no. I mean, look at the toys. I want a toy, and he gets a toy all the time. I mean, how many toys have these kids been brought home?
A lot.
It's
Yeah, it's gotten
way more than
it's
enough.
gone over the top. I mean, we have overindulged them.
He looks in our bags to see like a Santa Claus coming home every day. Like, what do you have for me?
You wait, he'll be 12, he'll be asking for a bike every time. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. You're filling your time that you don't spend with your kids with buying them things. Your kids don't want or need these toys. They don't. What they want is quality time with two parents who are going to be fair and funny and silly with them, but who are going to give them guidance and directions and raise them with healthy family values. The last thing I want to talk about is bedtime. You're laying on the floor to get your child off to sleep, touching their fingers, and then you're in bed with Ryan. I mean, you've got to laugh because it's so, if you don't, you'll cry because the pair of you are absolutely knackered.
I fall asleep before Jonathan does on the floor. She'll leave me there for 3 hours. At 1 in the morning, I'll wake up. My body will be stiff as a board. Why did you leave me here for 3 hours? Oh, you look comfortable, Greg.
But it's crazy. 4.5 years, you guys haven't slept in your own bed on your own. I mean, that's ludicrous.
Sure.
So we need our lives back. We need to get it all together as a family and make sure we're all on the same page and be consistent, get the structure.
We're going to do a lot and put it in place to change the circumstances. So no more talking. Let's not talk.
Action.
Okay, let's walk the walk instead of talking the talk.
Okay,
Thank you very
good.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First thing I want to sort out in this house is all the clutter so they can have some more breathing space. We have 4 strollers in this house. 2 have to go.
Oh, no.
This one.
That's like brand new. I just spent $100 on that.
You want to get rid of the red one?
No, that's my prized
Well,
possession.
but we don't need it, though.
All right, chop, chop. You have 1 minute to make a decision.
Fancy, what's it gonna be? This one or that one? 10, 9, 8.
I was still torn because I love that stroller. You know, although it will break my heart, I mean, I'm willing to donate this stroller. I love that stroller that I gave away. I still am having feelings about it.
I personally think when Fanci let go of that stroller, she thought, what the hell, I might as well just start being militant with everything else.
Is that a keeper?
Don't be sentimental, get rid of it.
Mum and Dad had cleared up everything apart from the kids' toys, and I've got a plan for that. But what I thought this family deserved was a little bit of fresh air.
So, I think we should take a nice brisk stroll.
Okay, we're all for it.
Yeah, why don't we go up to Times Square and take a walk?
Okay.
Let's go. Come on, boys. Okay.
Right off the bat, I want to put Mum and Dad to the test. Every time they go out, they buy the kids a toy, and I'm not allowing that this time. What I want to see is how Mum and Dad react if they start kicking off.
Let's go.
I was like, I don't know what is gonna happen. Ryan is gonna have a total meltdown because we're gonna pass his favorite toy store. He is gonna be kicking and screaming to go into that place.
As we started to walk towards the toy store, I could see the meltdown coming.
Sure enough, as we passed the toy store, the boys wanted in.
I want to go to the toy.
You want a pretzel?
No, I want to go to the toy.
Oh, yeah, you want a pretzel, Jonathan?
We're not going today.
I don't like it.
And predictably, Ryan had a meltdown.
Ryan? Ryan? We're not going today. We go here all the time, and you have many, many toys.
No, I don't.
Let's look at some other stores. It's heartbreaking to me to see my son crying like this, and then it's also embarrassing.
Let's get a pretzel.
No. We're not pacifying with food.
No.
Let's not pacify with food. We're leaving.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Mum and Dad did a good job holding their ground. In the end, they managed to just drag him past the shop, but he kept harping on.
I need you to be strong enough to say, no, we're not going today because Mummy chooses for us not to go in there, okay? Ryan, listen to what Mummy's telling you now.
Ryan?
Turn around and listen to Mummy.
Ryan, I don't want to go into the store. We're not going.
Right, then let's move on a bit.
Let me take him for a second.
I'm tired.
He just didn't stop.
I'm tired.
And these parents didn't know how to handle him. So I thought what I'd do is to show these parents how to do it.
Okay, that's enough. Right now, that is enough, okay? No crying, no temper tantrum, okay? No pulling those faces.
And he looked at me and thought, this lady's having none of it. And I think as soon as these parents have realised they're not prepared to tolerate his nonsense, he gets that very quickly.
Right, let's see some good boy behaviour. Any nonsense, and I'm putting you on timeout.
When Ryan responded to Joe, he stopped crying and the meltdown went away instantly. It was like magic.
Back at the apartment, we still had that massive heap of toys to deal with. I was about to go through the same process with these two young boys as I just had with the parents. But this time, I was going to add a little twist to it. Jojo's brought these in for you, OK? You're going to be toy rangers today. These toy ranger hats are going to be a little incentive for the children, and then I'll show Mum and Dad how they can use these on a daily basis. You're going to organise the toys and work out which ones you're going to keep and which ones we're going to give to other little boys and girls. And the boys, once they were given very clear direction, got on and just did it.
No, my love.
You want to give it away?
This stuff in the big box.
Just this away.
You sure? Okay.
I want to too. Hi. Hi.
It's a really good idea for children to sort through their toys every now and then and get rid of the stuff that they've outgrown. Not only does it reduce clutter, but it also teaches them how to be charitable. Look how this is shaping up, look.
Unbelievable.
Look how
Ryan,
this is shaping up.
Ryan, come on.
When all the toys were cleaned up, Joe came in with an area rug for our living room. We haven't had one since the kids were born.
Oh, that's nice.
Lovely. Now that they have a nice family area, Mum and Dad can use the Toy Ranger hats to continue picking up. When they're playing today and you ask them to put away, get them to put their Toy Ranger hats on.
Okay.
Right, it's Toy Ranger time. That's your little ritual in your house. It's Toy Ranger time, which
like
means put the caps on, get tidied away.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a Toy Ranger.
The home has certainly become more of a sanctuary for this family. But what will be important is that when Mum chooses to leave, it doesn't provoke a temper tantrum by Ryan. You are going to go up to Ryan and very confidently say, Mummy's popping out for an hour. Feeling really good about it because we shouldn't feel guilty. All right, big squeeze, kiss, smile, smiles. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you when I get back. And you are gonna walk, okay?
Okay. I was like, really? You think I'm gonna be able to get out of this apartment without everyone clinging to my leg and jumping all over me? Hey kids, Ryan, Dad, I'm going out for an hour and I'll be back. Let me give you a hug and kiss.
Where?
I love you.
When?
I love you right now.
When?
I love you.
What time do we
Love you too.
In 1 hour, I'll be back. I'll see you later. I love you guys. In 1 hour. I said, I'll see you later. I kissed everyone goodbye, and I was able to leave. I couldn't believe it.
Because Mum wasn't apologetic and she didn't act guilty when leaving, the boys just accepted it as a matter of fact. And there was no meltdown.
Once my wife didn't feed into it, it was okay to leave, and there was no problem.
If Mum continues to use this technique, she'll feel really good about going to work or anywhere else, and Ryan will feel okay about it as well. Because these kids are fearful of being separated from their parents, it's meant that bedtime has been like a circus for this family, so I need to deal with it head on. We're going to do the sleep separation technique. The beds are set up like this. And what I want the pair of you to do is to be facing this way. You're looking away from them and you're at an angle. There will be no talking. Okay, there will be no conversations had whatsoever. This technique gives the child reassurance that you're around without having to be in their bed, but they're initiating sleep by themselves. And in case the kids got up in the middle of the night, what I did was to give Mum and Dad the second technique called the stay in bed technique. You're going to take your child by the hand, tuck him into bed and say, it's bedtime, darling. If they get up a second time, you'll say to them, it's bedtime. And if the third time they get up and try and come back into your bed, you'll say nothing. I then gave Mum and Dad some earpieces so they could hear my instructions clearly on my walkie-talkie. And then I set up camp in the living room with my monitor.
I love you so much.
Okay, guys, let's turn the lights off.
I didn't know how the kids were gonna handle it, how I was gonna handle it.
I don't like sleeping in my own bed.
You know, it's been close to 5 years that this has been going on, so it's it's in their brain.
Jonathan fell asleep pretty quickly, so I got Dad straight out of there. But that's when the fireworks began. Aside from everything else, Mum was just worried that the screaming was going to wake up Jonathan, and then there would be two kids screaming.
I want to go in your room.
The worst part was that I couldn't talk to him.
Mommy, I want to tell you something. Mommy, I want to tell you.
I felt really bad that I couldn't communicate to him why this was happening, why I was doing this.
As you know now, he's desperate for the communication, but he needs to learn this is nighttime, and nighttime means no conversation. It means bedtime.
Oh, Mommy, Mommy. Give me a kiss, Mommy. I want to hold your hand.
Fancy, you're doing real good.
If Joe was not talking to me in the earpiece, I would have definitely crashed. I wouldn't have made it through.
If he's fully asleep, you might as well come out.
After 90 minutes, both boys were asleep. But inevitably, they were going to wake up in the middle of the night like they've done for years. So tonight, when you retire off to bed, when the kids do come in, what you're going to do is to adopt the stay in bed technique.
Basically, we just hold their hands, walk them right into bed and say, good night, darling. And that's it. Second time, good night. Third time, nothing.
Yeah.
Shortly after midnight, Dad got a chance to do the second technique.
Hi, how are you?
Remember the technique?
Come on. Come back to bed, come on.
Greg, you're not doing it properly. Remember, don't panic. You just be very quiet. You're like, shh, shh, you're doing all of this. Shh, shh, shh. You know, you just take them and say, it's bedtime, darling.
Okay.
And tuck them into bed, okay?
And then Jonathan started to call Mum's name from his bed. And that's when Mum's heart started to break.
But can we go over there and like soothe him, even though he's in his bed?
Do you think that anything you do will soothe him? What do you think will soothe him right now?
If I give him a hug.
You think that's enough? What does he want? What soothes him?
Going to sleep in our bed.
Soothe him. And you walk out the room and he'll cry again. That's what he wants is in bed. He wants your bed.
Jonathan came out, Ryan came out. Mum went in, Dad went in, Mum came out, Dad went out. I mean, it went on for quite a while.
Mommy, I don't like my room. I want to sleep with Mommy.
They were crying, they were upset. It was definitely hard. I didn't think it would ever be over.
I don't want to sleep in my bed.
These parents did stick with the stay in bed technique and they took the child back into their bed. The boys were finally in their bed and quiet for the time being. But it was around 2 o'clock in the morning and we were all pretty exhausted. Mum and Dad had done extremely well, but it was time for me to leave to see how they'll do without me.
I'm leaving you for a couple of days. Everything you've been taught, I want to see you guys implement. Seriously, if you guys do not do it while I'm away, you're going to go back to square one. If you have them in this bed tonight, you're cheating them, you're cheating yourself.
This family are depleted, sleep deprived. So it's going to be even more important that when I leave, they continue to do this technique. It wouldn't surprise me if when that front door shuts, those kids hear it and they're running back in that bedroom.
I'll see you in a couple of days. Give the kids a kiss for me when they wake up. You're welcome. I'll see you when I get back.
They do know full well what they need to do whilst I'm gone, starting from keeping those boys in bed tonight. The question is, will they have the willpower to do it? This family had a lot to work on in my absence, and I really do hope that they've been able to stick with the techniques that I left them.
Good morning.
Hello.
I didn't know what she may hone in on, what she might say.
Are we ready to take a look at the DVD? Yeah, sure. That didn't sound too enthusiastic.
Throw it right at us, whatever you have.
All right, let's take a look at this. Bedtime after I went, okay?
Yes.
See you in a couple of days. Give the kids a kiss for me when they wake up.
I'm not It's fine.
What I see when I watch that is basically you guys recognising the importance of everybody getting sleep. Yes. The fact that you had the strength to put them back and hold faith in the technique that you know that you can do is what's going to give you the results. And already you're seeing them. So just keep on with that. Toy Rangers.
All right, guys, let's start picking up.
But I didn't make the mess.
But the thing is, you both have to clean up because they're both your toys. You have an option. We either play and we don't watch TV, or we put this away and we watch some TV. I want to see you start doing it now.
Clean away, watch TV.
Come on, Toy Rangers, let's go.
Excellent.
Good job, guys.
Excellent job.
Good job.
Good cleanup.
Good job.
Lovely. Lovely, clear explanation to the children there, Fancy. We can leave it, or we can tidy it, and we can do this afterwards. So you made it very clear to them, and that clear direction allowed them to make a choice, and they jumped into it. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Okay, let's take a look at the naughty store.
I want a lollipop.
You get one later, right? Now you already had one. You're doing really good.
Now.
There are no lollipops.
I
You
want
just
a lollipop.
finished one. Stop your crying, and let's go on and play some puzzles. If you don't behave, you'll go in the naughty chair. Sit down in a chair now.
Mommy loves you. You get a lollipop later.
This really was a case of ignoring it. I want a lollipop, I want a lollipop. Well, we haven't got any, darling. You just ignore it.
I was a little torn about this because I didn't think I should have put him on the naughty chair for this particular reason.
You put him on there knowing you shouldn't have put him on there. And so it was hard for you to even